What up, what up, what up? Legendary Talks here. I'm Legendary Damon. We are doing episode 85 today. I can't believe I've done 85 of these. I've been doing this for 5 months. We have an amazing girl about to join us, Shelby J. She is just an amazing artist, singer. Hey, Kalinda, what's up? I'm really excited to chat with her just about her experiences and her journey. And she's right on time. Here she is. Hey, what's up, Felicia? The legendary Shelby J. Hey, Erica. Hey, Kalinda.
What's good?
Hi, my darling.
Hi, darling. I love that jacket.
Thank
Listen,
you. I wore it for you.
you better come all the way through.
How are you feeling?
Yes.
How are you feeling?
I'm feeling pretty good. Feeling
Good.
pretty good. Great day and
Good.
feeling pretty good.
Where are you located?
I am in North Carolina. I am home in Greensboro, North Carolina. Safe and sound.
So, just in case you don't know, I do this chat called Legendary Talks. This is my 85th episode since March. And thank you. And we celebrate people that have been, artists and true creatives and people that have been important to culture. Some are very well known, some people don't know, and that doesn't matter to me. It's that they have really influenced culture and been really important to culture. So we're here to celebrate individuals. So we're here to celebrate you today, Boo.
Well, thank you. I've been watching some of your shows.
Oh,
I've been
good.
following.
Good. Good.
Oh yeah.
We've had Joey on here. I don't care. Like I said, it could be a musician, could be, we had Crazy Legs of Breakdance. It doesn't matter who it is. Something that's just been important to culture. So,
Yes.
so
For
I,
having.
I like asking everyone to describe themselves. So please describe yourself describe yourself to me as if I didn't know you or what you
Wow.
do.
My name is Shelby, and I am a Southern girl who loves animals and digging in the dirt and writing songs and crocheting and singing and traveling and just enjoying every day and just finding things that make me happy and trying to every single day, even now when I go out with the mask on, trying to spread love and light. And that's it. And be a truth teller all the time. And
Great.
so that's me. That's who I am. I'm here. We're all here for a limited time. And while I'm here, I just want to, make a positive difference in the world and, just make people smile. I love it. That's what I do.
Well, so far, mission accomplished with everything you said. You are really a light in any room that you're in. So you are a bright light. So,
Thank
and a
you.
warm vibe. You have a warm vibe when I'm around you. You have that warmth vibe. So.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Yeah, and it's something because I'm from the South in North Carolina, and a lot of times, I lived in New York for 13 years. And when I first got to New York, and I was waiting tables, and my grandpa always said, wherever you go, you take yourself with you. So I was a Southern girl with my whole Southern hospitality in the East Village waiting tables, and they were like, "Who is?" I was making crazy tips because I was nice, and I was like, "This is just how you treat people. You treat people with love and respect and kindness, and it gets you further. In life, I find it doesn't always mean that it's going to be reciprocal because it's some darkness out there, but I just think that we have to smother that with light and love.
Well, that's a great way of looking at it. That it doesn't have to be reciprocated. It's what you're giving out. You're not giving out to get back. So that's great. So
Right.
um, I'm from Detroit, and first of all, I tell every single person I try to bring Detroit up in conversation as much as I can at any given time. But I'm from Detroit, and we're different than the South, where it's morals and hard work ethic, and we're good people. We're tough though. So we're kind of like New York. A little like a little New York, a little like Midwest mix. Again, we're tough though. Detroit is tougher, so you know.
Oh yeah. Yeah, yeah. And I'm country, so don't get it twisted because I haul mulch and pick. I'm strong. Prissa, you so strong.
What are you drinking?
This is actually iced green tea.
All right, cheers.
Cheers. Boom,
So
pow. This is one of
We,
my followers made this for
I love
me,
that. That's great.
and it's my name, and I love a bling. I don't want to get the name wrong because it escapes me right now, but I just love getting great, thoughtful gifts from folks. They're like, "Shelby, we want to sing you something." I'm like, "Well, thank you so much." So yeah, somebody put in my hashtag PVO, positive vibes only.
Yep. Also, we have a drinking game on Legendary Talks, and you can choose the word, but it should be something that we're going to talk about often throughout the chat. So, what do you want the drinking word to be?
Uh, let's see. Ooh, what's a good drinking word? Let me get somebody give me some suggestions. Give me some suggestions, y'all, in the fans down there. I see y'all. Somebody give me a suggestion for the
All right,
drinking word
we'll
game.
come back to that. So, we could
Come
do
to
positivity, we could do music, we could do singing, whatever you want, but
How about we do Prince?
okay, that'll work. We'll be talking about, yeah, we'll get real drunk tonight. Okay, so I want to ask you a couple questions. So you're from North Carolina, as you said, and I always think that, when people are young, kind of 9, 10, 11, 12 years old, that shapes who they are as creative adults. I mean, those are really 8 through like 12 or something are really important years to shape who you are as a creative adult. So I think those really beginning years are really shaping. So what's the first song that really blew your mind, that you remember really blowing your mind?
Wow. It would have to be Fame. Irene Cara. I was Irene Cara. Like
I love
Fame was
that.
one of my favorite movies ever, and I remember the impact that film had on me.
Yep.
And I put a towel on my head, and I was up on the bed singing, baby, look at me, all of that. So Fame that's it for
Yeah.
me. So I remember that song having just a super impact on me. And I wanted to go to that high school. I wanted those friends. I wanted to dance in the street on top of taxis, everything.
Macaroni and bologna, tuna fish, my favorite dish, remember?
Yes.
Okay,
And Alex
so
on and whew, that
I also love that movie, but kind of relatedly, the reason I live in New York is because I saw Flashdance, which is kind of like the next kind of version of Fame. It's Irene Cara again singing the song, and I thought that Jennifer Beals, the lead character, lived in New York at the time. I was like a little kid. I didn't realize she lived in like Philadelphia or something, but I wanted that lifestyle. She was like in this amazing loft, and she was like breakdancing, and she was like a stripper by night, welder by day. Like I wanted that life, but I was about 7, 8 years old, so that's why I live in New York because of Flashdance. I always say that.
I love it. I love it. Yeah, that was a good film.
What's the first concert you went to?
Whew, very first concert was wow. I guess it would have been a Jackson 5 concert,
That's a good
uh,
one.
about like 10 or 11. But I remember the first concert I remember having an impact on me was Prince's concert with the car going around the stage.
Love
Um,
Sexy. Love
yeah,
Sexy.
I remember that blew my mind. I was like, they've car on stage, what's happening? And I went with my sister. She stuck me in there. My parents they didn't know what was going on, but I needed to be at this concert. So that I remember that. That's the one that had a huge impact on me.
I mean, I think Prince live had an impact on everyone. Mm.
Yeah. Hey,
My first
Cleo.
concert, my first concert was the Pointer Sisters. Then Prince was my second concert, Purple Rain.
Wow. Yeah, and
And
I love me.
I was too young. I was like under 10. I was like 9 or something, I think. And my uncle was going, and he wouldn't take me, so I wouldn't talk to him. And then he ended up getting an extra ticket at the last minute, and he kind of like again like snuck me in or something. I don't think my parents knew I was going. It was like and that blew my mind literally, obviously. So
Stuff like that really stays with you, That's to this day when I see clips, like it just takes me. I remember that. I'm like, whoa. And then fast forward to I'm in
yep,
his band, and he's my brother, and I'm just like, life is crazy.
it is. We're not there yet. So I want to talk more. I want to kind of get a sense of your core, creative core.
Oh,
So in North Carolina, what do you think what influenced you during that time? What were the influences of that time in your life? You were going to Love Sexy, you were going to Jackson 5. What was North Carolina influence? How was it influencing you?
My church. My mother was the minister of music, which is a fancy word for choir director of all the choirs at St. James Baptist Church. And my
Amazing.
sister Lynn was the drummer. I'm the
Cool.
youngest of three girls. So when I came, they were already singing. They already had their parts. My sister Kim, my mother's on piano and organ. And I wanted to sing. And I just remember choir rehearsals on Saturday, choir rehearsals on Wednesday, performing at church, going, doing revivals, traveling around. So that was a major part of my upbringing.
Oh, great. Interesting. And then what do you think, like, you've traveled the world, you performed on stages all over the world. Hello? Okay, you good? You've traveled the world, you performed on stages all over the world.
I don't know.
What do you think stays with you? What stayed with you from North Carolina in your, like, your adult life, and what is with you now still from North Carolina and all your kind of glamorous, fabulous life? You know what I mean?
I think being who you are, like really being connected to your roots and
Yep.
just really maintaining that, because it's a very slippery slope.
Yep.
Try to switch up, and it's like, well, these people want you to be this way and these people want you to be this way. And so my foundation and my roots are very strong.
Good.
And so that's very strong roots.
It's like, don't believe the hype, basically. Don't believe the outside hype.
Yeah, and be a good person.
Yep, you're right.
But it's not about I don't sing or perform because I never, my motivation was never money. My motivation was never fame. My motivation was I love singing and performing like I love breathing.
Yeah.
And so I just needed to find a way to do it.
Yep.
But in going in these different circles, it's like you still need to be a kind human. You still need to be a respectful human. And those things that my mom and dad and my grandparents poured into me stayed with me. And even when I found myself slipping a little bit, as we do when we're younger, maybe in our 20s or whatever, it really, I could rein myself back in to be like, Shell, that's not where it's at. You remember who you are. That's why I talk about my song, Who You Are. Remember who you are,
Yeah, and a couple of things just to add to that is that, one of my philosophies has always been the busboy and the owner, you treat them the same. You mean, one is not better than the other. And then, getting back to what you're saying about your 20s, like, I was kind of cocky in my 20s too. I was in New York doing the hottest parties. Like, I was cocky. It's normal. That's what you do at that time. But, my goal has been for many years to be, I am fabulous, undeniably, but to be really humble about that, to be like, I try and teach younger people, you can be absolutely fabulous, but you can be kind. And I think people don't understand you can be both, so.
Sure can be. You sure can be.
What was your first gig?
Wow. My first gig was, I guess professionally, it was cruise ships.
Oh,
yeah, cruise ships. I was a student at Appalachian State University, and I went on one tour with the Black Gospel Choir.
Ooh.
And I fell in love with traveling and being on a bus and going from place to place. And I called my mom and I was like, I am leaving school. I need to sing. And it was like, say what now? And
just like,
say what?
Yeah.
And so I came home and I got a job back in Greensboro, and I started going to different places to sing around here, different clubs. And I met a guy named Lou Taylor, who was a band leader, and he was looking for a singer to fill out his disco band for the Big Red Boat. And that was his missing piece. And it worked. He hired me. I had to learn a gazillion songs. Like Prince was like, how do you know so many songs? I had like a real book with like the jazz standards and everything like that. And then I had to know all of the stuff, everything from Patsy Cline to Ace of Base. I mean, we're talking about like 1992, and so that was my first professional kind of being on the cruise ships.
Cool.
Yeah, out of Port Canaveral in Florida, hitting the Bahamas and Cozumel and all those places.
I think Jennifer Hudson did a cruise ship. That was her first gig too, Jennifer Hudson.
Yeah, it's good training.
I heard. What do you think your first big break was?
Ooh, I think my first big break was when I went to New York and I started hosting Sylvia's open mic up in Harlem.
Mhm.
That was it, because that's where I met so many musicians, as I call all the cats. I met all the MDs looking for people to complete bands. And I think I was there for 2 weeks, and I met Abe Fogle, who's a great drummer, plays with Rob Thomas and everything. He was the MD for Groove Theory, and they had come out with Tell Me, and they needed background singers.
Mhm.
And so that was my first. I said, I'll do it.
Yeah,
And
of
me and my
course.
Cassell were, next thing I know, we were on the road with Groove Theory and the Fugees and Maxwell, and it was awesome. So yeah, that let me.
Oh, I think you just froze. You just,
I know, I don't know
yeah.
why. Okay.
Yeah, you're good. You just said you were on tour with Groove Theory, Fugees, and Maxwell. First of all, what a great tour, right? I want to like, and how long had you been in New York at that point?
And who I've been in New York maybe a year and a half, maybe if that, maybe
That's
not
my
even
point.
that
So,
long.
because my thing is, I'm a big component, a big fan of like just put myself in the room. Like you're saying, you were in Sylvia's, and look what happened. So like, sitting at home is not going to do anything for you. Go. I'm a big fan of be in the room, and something usually good happens. I love being in the room. That's what I call it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and I tell people, no matter how great your boat is, it's not gonna sail on dry land. You got to go to the
Exactly.
water.
Yeah, we're saying the same thing too. Yeah, basically. Um, when did you realize you were special?
Oh, well, first of all, thank you for saying that. I think that, wow, I think when I was a kid,
Okay,
um,
great answer.
yeah, I got picked on. I was very vocal. I was very extra. Like I wanted to sing and dance, and I would talk to people, and I noticed that a lot of people weren't like that.
Yep.
They weren't as open as I was, and so then when you're different, sometimes that's frowned upon, by other kids. Like, what's up with her? It's just what's going on. So I realized then that my like
You,
my mother said, when I was a baby, I'd run up and hug people as she thought somebody was gonna take me. She's like, you would just run up and hug strangers. So I
I
think
could.
from
I mean,
I kind
you're still that way. I could see exactly the way you're describing yourself as a kid. I see it because you're still exactly that way. So it's great.
yeah. So yeah. So I knew that with them they let me be that. They
Great.
never tried to handcuff me or limit me. And I wanted to paint, I wanted to draw, I wanted to sing, I wanted to climb trees, I wanted to do this. They were just always very supportive of all of the creative things that I wanted to do. And there
Amazing.
was a
Amazing. Well, you can tell because you are extremely confident, happy, kind, well-rounded, warm adult. So they did. They supported that, and it's clear.
thank you.
Okay, so you mentioned earlier that you worked with someone called Prince.
Mhm.
Uh,
Just a little bit.
is it true that your first job with Prince was at the Super Bowl?
Yeah, actually, that was my first big and like coming out with him.
First of all, that's not
But
big. That wasn't big. That was big, girl. That was big.
it was epic. But
Yes,
I started with him 2 months before that at 3121 in Vegas.
got
And
it.
so we were playing at 3121. My first gig with him was New Year's Eve, going from 2006 into 2007. And
Good.
that's after that gig, he asked me to join his band. So we were playing there at 3121 leading up to the Super Bowl. But no one, a lot of my people, they didn't even know I was in his band yet until the Super Bowl.
Um, the Super Bowl being, one of the most amazing moments, probably even for his career, because it was such an amazing performance. But famously, he did Purple Rain. It started raining, which was so Prince. First of all, like he had planned it, but it was just like so gorgeous and amazing that he's doing Purple Rain. It started actually raining, like not technical thing. It was like raining from the sky. It was amazing. So.
That's the first in history. There's never been a Super Bowl where it's rained before. Not
I mean,
never. So
That makes sense to me. And were you kind of freaking out, or were you kind of like, this is where I'm supposed to be? I mean, that's such a huge mass. I mean, how many, like, isn't it like 80 million people are watching or something? And you're brand new. It's not like you've been there for 10 years. You're brand new. What was going through your head?
I felt as though I had arrived because I had been working toward this for so long, since, like I said, being on the cruise ships, being 19, 20, and all the gigs in New York,
Right.
everything led up to this. It was all, as we would say, you earn your stripes.
Good.
Like, I didn't wake up one day and start singing with Prince. I cut my teeth in the Village. I cut my teeth uptown, downtown. I cut my teeth on cruise ships. I cut my teeth in North Carolina, singing everywhere that would have me. So it really felt like, it was my reward for not giving up on myself and my dream,
Oh, great.
sticking with it, and knowing that this is what I was supposed to do.
That's awesome. That is totally, oh, you froze again, I think. You froze, boo-boo. Oh.
Why it keeps pausing? They say your gift will make room. I
Um,
know why. I'm back.
You're back, yeah. So, you just had said, that's to me so awesome that you didn't say that you deserve it, but you'd worked so hard that you felt you belonged there in a lot of ways, which is really amazing. So I'm really happy that you're saying that, because I think some people say, oh, I didn't belong, like what?
It says your gift will make room for you. Like it's something that's a scripture that talks about that.
That's
Like,
amazing.
so yeah, I felt like it was where I was supposed to be, Yeah,
You
and
know,
was so thankful and grateful. What?
yeah, I know, it's amazing. And, unrelated but related story. In about 2000, before you were working with him, about 2005 or 4 or 5 or something, he called me on stage at the Madison Square Garden. And I remember there's like 4 little stairs to get on the staircase. And I remember saying, I am so ready for this. You mean, I just started dancing. I was like, I wasn't shy or anything. I was absolutely ready. It was like my moment. I'm like, oh yeah, I'm ready. You mean, I wasn't like,
I was at that musicology show
Yeah,
back in
exactly.
2000, all the way up at the ceiling.
Isn't that crazy? And then 3 years later, you're performing on the Super Bowl. How did you guys, like, how'd that come about? How did you guys meet, or how did you hear of you?
I took a gig with Larry Graham. I had 2 weeks off. I was singing with Anthony Hamilton. I've been touring with him for about a year. Had 2 weeks off. My girlfriend Sandra Manning, West Coast, called me, said Larry Graham needs a singer for like one gig.
Yep.
I didn't know what the gig was. It ended up being at 3121 at Prince's Club, and it was with Larry. And
Got
then
it.
Prince saw me singing during sound check with Larry, and that's when we first met. But I didn't know that dude talking to me with the deep voice on the microphone telling me to sing again was Prince. I had no idea until he, like I say, until he floated from the soundboard. I was just like,
He floated a lot. He floated a lot in general, as you know. I mean, so.
yeah, I didn't know, but that's how it all happened.
Well, it's brilliant that you didn't know, because you might have, I don't know, but you might have kind of not been 100%, or maybe got a little like a little nervous or something. So it's actually brilliant that you didn't know, because you probably gave it 100%. You see what I'm saying? I don't know that you wouldn't, but
Oh yeah, always, always. And even that groove we talked about, they be like, Shelby, go full out. If it's like 2 people in at the groove, or whether it's like 80,000. So if you always perform like you're at the Super Bowl, you don't have if you stay ready, you ain't got to get ready.
yeah,
And if you always give it that, then it doesn't matter. You're ready for it.
yeah.
So when that opportunity does come, you're ready for it.
I want to ask you one more question about the Super Bowl, because I just passed it. What do you remember? Like, what's the main takeaway from the Super Bowl for you?
I remember Prince thanking me after, which I thought was just crazy. Like, you're thanking me for doing this with you. Because I was, like I said, fresh in his band.
Yep.
And just his level of humbleness and his level of gratitude, thanking me for doing this with him.
Yep.
And I'm like, dude, it's made my biggest dream of
Yep.
life ever. I was good. Like,
Yep.
for real. If he had never called me to do nothing, if he was like, all right, that's it, go back to North Carolina, it was nice, peace out, I would have been good.
Yep.
Like, yeah, I didn't, let alone, 10 years more. But I remember that. And I just remember how thought that he put into, how much intention he put into that show, and every piece and part of it. Because there were only like 7 of us on that stage. I mean, we had FAMU on the field, but you have Super Bowl shows, and it's like 80 gazillion people as dancers and 5 special guests coming in, and it was 7 of us, you know. And he thought about every single part of that show. So just his intention, you know.
Well, you know, I've seen Prince 1 bazillion times in life, and the show is always so tight, and the band is always so tight, the show is always so tight, you guys are always so tight, and you all go this way and all that stuff. So like, you know, I think I'm pretty clear on you guys' schedule. Like, you guys will be rehearsing like 6-7 hours a day at least, and then do. And then do like a 2-3 hour show, and then there's always an after party, and you guys perform for another 2 hours minimum. So I was amazed that, you know, the reality is you've been singing for 12 hours each day, you know what I mean? And, you know, and it's funny because he has so much energy, everyone else would be tired, and he still want to go, go, go. It's crazy. So, I mean, that's the schedule, right? What was the schedule?
Yeah, raised the bar for me. I mean, I had done other gigs. I had, you know, been with D'Angelo and, you know, Mary J. Blige and of course, Anthony Hamilton, but nothing had pushed me out of my comfort zone like being in Prince's band. Yeah. And if you can do that gig, then you can do anything after that, anything. Yep. Because it does push you out of your comfort zone. He sends me 12 songs. He's like, I need you to learn these. Like, and he'll start playing it like the next day. So I'm up all night trying to learn music, not, well, yeah, give me 3 or 4 days or whatever. He would push you to, he knew more about what I could do than I knew. And I could see it now, like all of the stuff that he would, you know, push me to do stuff I didn't even know I could do. And he brought that out of me. And also with the stamina, with understanding that, you know, if we go hard in our rehearsals, 12 hours for real, then it becomes muscle memory when we're at Madison Square Garden, when we're at the O2 Arena. We got this show so down that when we get out there, we're not focusing on the notes. It's muscle memory. So we can completely focus on the audience and giving them that energy, you know, because we got the show so down.
Yeah, it's kind of like, you know, training at a gym or something, that kind of thing. You just train yourself to know it inside out. That's amazing, yeah. I never thought about it that way. That's why it was those 12-hour training, the 12-hour rehearsals. That's amazing.
It was boom.
What are some highlights, like, in general? You know, the shows and, you know, the next couple, you know, 5, 6, 7, 8 years you guys worked together. What are some highlights?
Wow. Man, highlights, of course, Super Bowl. I would say the O2 Arena in 2007, I, you know, never spent that much time. I had an apartment, or they call it a flat. We all had flats in London. And I was like, this is so cosmopolitan. This is crazy. I'm living in London in my own little apartment. And we played the O2 Arena. We had like a couple of days off. He goes, you want to go see the Rolling Stone? I'm like, of course I want to go see the Rolling Stone. Are you crazy? Lisa Fisher? I just want to see Lisa Fisher because I'm just like, I love Lisa Fisher.
Yeah.
But the O2, of course, I would say all of the Welcome to America gigs, the Forum.
I love those shows. I love
Garden. And also Welcome to Australia. Our time in Australia was next level. That was just, it was really great. And on a personal tip, I would say it was a vacation that we took when we were in Italy. He's like, yeah, we got a week off. You want to go to Morocco? Let me think about that. Do I want to go to Morocco with you for like a week and just hang? Yeah, I think so. So stuff like that. And next thing I know, I'm in Marrakesh and seeing all this stuff. And I love history. I'm a history buff. And so it was really great getting to experience that and how generous he was to me with that, because he didn't have to do any of that, you know?
Well, you know, I saw you guys together a lot, and, you know, first of all, in the live show itself, I vividly remember the first time I saw you on the stage. You stand out. To me, it was always like, you know, Prince and you, whoever the other, you know, Liv or whoever the other singer was. It was like, you guys were co-starring in the show. You stood out so much in a great way. You weren't backup singers in the corner. I mean, you're such a front part of the show. Do you see what I'm saying? As backup
Yeah.
singers. Usually they're, in the back or whatever, hence the word backup. But you guys were front and center, and I think he wanted that way on purpose, but I vividly remember you. And then also, I think that, your guys' relationship was so clear, even on the stage and in general, that, you guys were kind of besties in my mind. And I know I could just tell that he trusted you instinctually. I know he did. So,
Oh yeah, it was something that how generous he was and how he would say my name so much. And I'm like, yo, dude, like, Shelby, Shelby, Shelby. And I was like, this is so great. You're really, he really set me up for people to know my name. And he
yeah.
goes, well, you're going to have a band, someday people need to know your name. They need to know, they need to know, they need to remember, and I'm like, all right, well, thank you so much. But yeah, we were friends and brother and sister in the truest sense of the word, which means we didn't always get along. We didn't always see eye to eye. Like I told my girl, I'm like, sometimes I want to throw a shoe at him. He want to throw a shoe at me. But that's real. When you have a real friendship and relationship, it's not
Yeah, yeah,
always
real.
rainbows and we always agree and see eye to eye. That ain't real.
Yep.
So I love it. And people told me, oh, don't disagree with him. Don't do this and you're going to get sent home. And it's like they would be gone and I would still be there year after year after year, leading up to, 10 years being in this man's life like I was. And so I just stayed Shelby. And Rashida, I remember her telling me, I remember this like it was yesterday at the Rio. And her, and I was like, well, people are saying this. They're telling me, Shelby, do this. Don't say that. He doesn't like this. Because I was new. She goes, Shelby, be yourself. Just be you. Don't even listen to that. Be you. And I was like, so
Well, that's
yeah.
always the best advice in any situation. Just be you in any, like that's the best advice in any context. So I think, so.
Yeah. But you're in a new situation with Prince and you're trying to learn
Yeah.
there's protocol,
Yeah, 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 yeah. Yeah, of course.
So yeah. But
Who did you meet that you kind of like gagged over? You like, oh my God, I can't believe I'm meeting, Mick Jagger or someone. Who did you meet over the years?
Mavis Staples.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
That's Mama Mavis. And Prince said Mavis is coming tonight. And I was like, clutch my pearls. I was like, I said, she might get up and sing a song. I said, can I do background? Please, 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 please. He was like, yeah. I was like, yes. So meeting Mavis and also Michael Jackson. I met Michael Jackson through Prince backstage. Didn't know who I was going to be walking into the room to meet. Me and the twins. He goes, come back here. I want y'all to meet somebody. Not come back here. I want y'all to meet Michael Jackson. Like we didn't know until we walked in. And I was surprised at how tall he was. He was much taller than I thought in my head.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, that was like, whoa, So yeah, Mavis Staples and Michael Jackson were like,
Those are two good ones, by the way. I'm like, okay. Things that I was surprised. So he did his own makeup, which I thought was very interesting.
mm-hmm.
And also, to my knowledge, there was no set list, right? You guys ever had a set list?
Yeah, set list, but it was always a rough outline
Oh, got it.
because it would fill the room and he changed it up. So you always had to be ready for him to call something. But we'd have a set list, but it could change.
I saw it changing a lot, and I was like, it's okay, it's amazing. Like this, you guys,
Yeah.
that's why those rehearsals were so important because you guys would just seamlessly step into place, So.
Yeah, and do your homework at home. We'd be in the hotel room. Like I never I really when I look at it, when I look at my song book, one time like Janelle Monáe and her band, they all came over to Paisley and we were all around the piano in the soundstage room and he goes, Shelby, go get your song book. And it was literally the size of a phone book. Well, you remember phone books? It was like the size of a big old thick phone book. And I was like, these are all the songs with all the notes and stuff scratched out because he wouldn't play a song the same way twice all the time. And he wouldn't always play a song like the record.
Yep.
It was a different whole nother arrangement. He put, let's do 2 bars of drums here, and let's do a bass solo here, let's do this, and you'd be counting and have to have your time together. So yeah, it was challenging, but it was awesome.
I'm sure. Shout out to Janelle
Yeah,
Monáe, by the way. Shout
yeah,
out to
love her.
me too. Okay, so what did you learn about yourself from him?
That I could be anything I wanted to be, and that I
Amazing.
didn't have to ask permission, and I could do anything I wanted, and I
Amazing.
didn't have to ask permission, and I didn't have to worry about if people thought it was okay. You know,
Yep.
it was completely okay to do that, and he instilled that in me. I still hear him in my head all the time, being like, "Yeah, Shelby. Yeah, of course you can do that.
Yeah.
Yeah, do that. Do that.
Amazing.
You won't. Yeah, you make the rules."
Um, that's part of his legacy that he left to you. You see him saying that kind of like, on your shoulder kind of like encouragement. That's amazing. So,
Yeah.
um,
Oh yeah.
what did you
And to
learn about?
trust myself.
Good, good. What did you learn about him?
Whew, that he was funny, very, very funny, and that he was a man that was always seeking knowledge. Prince was real smart, and he was smart because he read a lot, he watched a lot of movies, he wanted to know a lot about a lot. And so, and I'm like that. It's like I would go to, I'm a Baptist, I'm a Southern Baptist born and raised, but I would go to Kingdom Hall with him because I wanted to understand
Yep.
what religion was about. It was like not about me converting or what,
Yep.
it was about, this is my brother and this is his religion and this is important to him. I need to understand what's going on with this. And it was really enlightening to me. And so I have friends who are Buddhists. I've been to mosque. And so that openness to other ways of thinking and also understanding history. Because if you understand history, you can kind of understand the way things are now, and you can put things in context, better on a world stage, not just on your block, but on a whole world stage. So with him, he was like, read this, watch this movie. He was always giving me stuff to like watch and read and soak up. He's like, I don't want you just up there holding the microphone. I want you, to soak up this knowledge and to be as smart as possible.
Well, he was a very intrigued person. I think people sometimes get less intrigued as they get older. He was a very intrigued person and, curious person. I think people
Yeah.
they get less curious as they get older. I don't think he did that. So,
Oh, like a kid. He was
yeah.
like that seeking mind that you have when you're a kid. Like, I want to know about this. I want to know about that. And that was just part of who he was and is. I still speak of him in the present tense all the time. Yeah, all the time. But yeah, he was very childlike like that.
And he did have a lot of energy, for sure, right?
Yeah.
Tons of energy. Before we move on from that, is there anything else you want to share? Any crazy, fun stories or anything before we move on?
Wow. I can't think of any. There's so much,
Mm-hmm.
and everybody's like, Shelby, you got to do a book. You got to do a book, and that talk about not just Prince but just my whole
Yeah.
life and with different people, with D'Angelo and just my journey. But I would say with Prince, one of the funniest things is just how he would say stuff like, I'd be like, hey, I'm going to the store. You want some chips? He would say like, hey, Anna Moore is playing over in Rome. You want to go see her? And we were like in France, and he would say it so nonchalantly, but it was still so cool. It was so suave when he would do it. And so we had a lot of nice little one-offs, adventures like that. And I was always down for whatever. I would tell him, I said, listen, I got my passport, my toothbrush. I'm ready. That's it. Like, he was like, Shelby, stay ready. She ready to go.
That's so funny.
No problems, no drama. Let's bounce. Where we going?
He's like, you want to go to France right now? You're like, yes, let's go. You mean, right?
Yeah, because, life is for living.
You're right.
And I was the one always, taking photos and video. I have so many movies and stuff because, I'm from a small town in North Carolina, and there are a lot of people living through me and living through my experiences. And I'm like, I may never come to these places again. If I do, that's great. But if I don't, I want to soak up as much as I can. I want to see as much as I can. I want to take photos of as much as I can. So just in case I don't get back, I can sit here like now when I can't tour, when we can't go nowhere and do shows, I can sit here and look at my pictures from 2012,
Yep.
being in Rome and being here and there,
What a great way of looking at it too. That you're from this small town, you may never be able to. That's a great philosophy. Good for you. You mean?
People are, are following me, and they tell me when I come home, they're like, "Girl, we saw your pictures and da da da," and they, on their way down to the bank or on to the post office to go to work, and they're living vicariously through me, and I love that.
Well, I think what it is too. People like to see other people living their dreams. So they're seeing you living your dream, and I think that really resonates with people. They see that you are living your truth and doing your dream, and I think people enjoy watching other people living their dream. So.
Yeah.
So you said you work with D'Angelo. When did you work with D'Angelo?
Voodoo tour. I got with D in '99, and my first gig was the Chris Rock show, Chicken Grease. And it was just me and Anthony Hamilton doing backgrounds, Pino Palladino, Questlove, Spanky D, James Poyser on organ. And so, yeah, I did. He released Voodoo in January of 2000. And then we were on the road, and I was the only girl with 12 dudes. And it was awesome. It was great.
Yeah, if anyone can handle that, though, it's you. I know you can. You mean?
Yeah, for sure. And I told Prince, I'm y'all's common denominator. He's looking at videos of me with D'Angelo and then Anthony Hamilton, and I'm like, yeah, I'm y'all's common denominator. Yeah, I'm the one thing y'all have in common.
How was it working with D'Angelo? How was that experience for you?
It was great. It was wonderful. That's my brother, one of the most talented brothers on the planet, and it was so great because it was such an amazing tour. We got to really, I don't know if you got to come to any of the shows, but we had on our face paint. Go on YouTube and put in Voodoo Tour Soultronics. Okay. And we were like a modern day Funkadelic.
Amazing.
How we did stuff. And so it was very freeing, and the music was great.
Yep.
And harmonizing with JK and Anthony. I mean, it was great. Those shows were tight, and just people had a really good time. They still talk about that tour.
Good. Did you ever see the movie 20 Feet from Stardom?
Yes.
Okay, so some people haven't seen it. Just, it's an amazing documentary. I suggest everyone go see it. So I want to ask you this. So you came out with your solo album last year, 2019, right?
My solo album?
Your first album, right?
Well, my first solo Shelby J album was 2017. I had a band called Black Gypsy.
Okay.
And we put a record a little bit before that. But yeah, the Shelby J album came out, and I put it out April 2017 because Prince told me, don't come back to Minneapolis without your record. And so I released it during that celebration, that very first celebration after his transition. Yeah.
So 20 Feet from Stardom, for people that don't know, it's about, these amazing singers, background singers that are 20 feet from the star, for lack of better words. Do you, I mean, how do you feel? Like, do you feel comfortable being in the front? Do you feel comfortable both? Do you feel more comfortable in the background? Because a lot of the singers said they liked being in the background.
Well, it depends on who it is. It's like Prince is like, I don't want you singing, because he told me one time, he goes, you don't need to be behind nobody. You need to be beside me, or else leading your own band.
Yeah.
But it depends on who the artist is. Like right after, I think a year after his passing, I did the Roots Picnic, and I sang with D'Angelo again for the first time.
Oh, wow, amazing.
And that was at Bryant Park in New York. And that was insane.
Yeah.
But it felt right. I'm like, I know when it feels right, and I won't say yes to everything, but D knows when he calls me, I'm gonna be there.
Yep.
Stuff like that. And Anthony, like it's a family thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I feel comfortable singing with and harmonizing with certain people. It's a vibe, it's a vibe. But at this point, like where I'm at now, I'm just really, really focused on my next record and all of the stuff that I want to do in 2021, all of the creative things I want to do in 2021. But if D called me, I'm there.
No, I know what you mean. There's certain people that you're always going to be there, no matter what. You could have the #1 album in the country and probably still do it for him. See what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm real singing. And so there's singing and there's singing, and I'm a real singer. Like,
yes, you are.
I don't do the can thing. I don't do the lip sync thing. It's like, So.
Well, I'm very fortunate, to have several friends that are singers, and it's interesting because they all love singing. Real singers love singing. Singers will sing, you know, they'll sing and make money and things. Singers love to sing. They'll sing at any chance they get. So
At the grocery store today,
yep.
like that's just what I love to do, and so
Yep.
it doesn't. I do it because I love it. You know, not there doesn't have to be a check involved or
Yep.
people watching, clapping for me. It's like
Yep.
it's what I love. You
Not for
know,
the audience, for yourself, you know. So
that's right.
um, and then what do you see? You said, you know, 2021, you want to do these creative things. What do you see for the future for yourself? So albums, like, what do you think?
So, oh yeah, I'm gonna be doing music till I see Prince again, till I'm on the other side of the dirt, creating. I'm writing right now. I'm partnering with my good friend Kilo, who produced and wrote on the Miseducation of Lauryn Hill album. He lives here in my hometown, and so we're collaborating together, not only on songs for myself, but songs for other artists on Sony Music and other labels. Also, I'm working with Charlie Hunter, who is a guitar presario. He's amazing. We recorded like a whole record together.
Wow.
Cabin up in Connecticut with Carter McLean on drums. Nice little trio record. Just creating. So I'm excited about getting all of that music out. But most importantly, I'm excited about using my platform and the way people listen to what I say to spread some love and light in this world right now because we need it.
Yep.
And want to help people understand that there's still goodness in the world and what we sing about matters. I was having a discussion with somebody the other day. It's like what we sing about matters. It matters, especially now. And so we have to really think about what we're putting out in the universe. So my mom said, make your contribution. Don't worry about this person over here singing about wallpaper, cucumber, you know, shoot a
Yeah.
puppy, whatever. Listen, what are you singing about? If you want to uplift and motivate and inspire people, make sure that's the kind of music that you are putting out so that people can have that option. You
Yeah.
know, it might
I love that.
get 1,000,000 views on whatever, like some of this stuff that I'm seeing now that's just crazy, but make sure it's available to people that want it. So I'm excited about that, and also using my gifts for good. Well, of course, I'm a breast cancer survivor, so I'm working with lots of breast cancer organizations, earlier.org. I'll be doing a lot more work with them. They provide funding for early testing for BRCA1 and BRCA2 gene testing. I'm working with United Way here locally in my hometown, working with Second Harvest Food Bank right now during the coronavirus. People need food, real talk. People need food. And just, you know, if I can, by some way, you know, go sing a song or go tag something or go make an appearance and use that a little bit of shine that I have to make people want to say, hey, let me come down here with a bag of food for folks, then that's what I want to do. Like that's what I want to do. Like it's not about me, it's about what can I do to help make the world a better place.
It's
And
awesome. I
that's
love that.
what I want to
I love that, but I do believe if, you know, if anyone is not kind of seeing that they need to be doing something right now to help others, it's a little, you know, like I think that everyone, you know, everyone should be seeing that this is the time more than ever to be helping others. You know,
do.
100%.
That's a call. It's a wake-up call. And
Yep.
it's a lot of people now that need help that never needed help before.
Yep. You're
So
right.
it's it, it is.
And then I've said this, you know, several times on here. The best art is going to come from what's happening. You know, this year and a year from now, there's going to be so much good music. In a year, 2 years from now, there's so much good art is going to. Every art across the board is going to be so amazing because of this. It's going to spawn art for sure. So
My journal, my journal is like this thick. I write every day,
good.
because it helps me get out my thoughts, and I also record
Yeah.
digitally on my phone. I'll just be in a car, something will come to me based on something that I've seen, something that I've heard. With everything happening in our world, for everything from police brutality that's going on to Black Lives Matter to just social injustice to them trying to stop our vote, real things, you know, real life things, and it really inspires art. It really
Yes,
does.
100%. Well, I think, yeah, let's just say yes. It inspires art. I'll leave it at that. So let me ask you a couple of fun questions. So, who are your 5 favorite singers of all time?
Mm. Mavis Staple, Ella Fitzgerald, Gladys Knight, Ooh, it always gets tough when it comes down to these two. Prince, and I ain't just saying that because he was my brother and I was in his band. And the last one, ooh, all time. Ooh, 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 ooh. Mm, mm,
You can say more than 5 if you want. Is that hard?
oh, because I then I go into the Betty Carters and the Nina Simones and stuff, and like you talk about the Pointer Sisters and stuff like that. So I've been influenced by so many artists,
Yeah.
but there's certain artists like Gladys Knight and Mavis. They speak to me. Like
Yep.
when I met Gladys, I was just like, oh, Lord have mercy. Her voice speaks to me. Her energy speaks to me. So yeah, I love them. And of course, Prince, and it's not so much even about his voice, it's about his writing and about his social awareness, and just him being so far ahead
Well,
of every
his artistry was so elevated and so articulate,
tip, his voice, his writing, his production, his entertaining
His
on stage,
outfits, his dancing,
his
everything, like
everything. Yeah, and
his attitude, everything, yeah, exactly.
his
Um,
business line.
I went to Gladys Knight's 75th birthday this past year, and I think
What?
it's the first time I had seen her, and she had so much, she still has it up very clearly, and she's like very young at heart. Like she's still got mad swag to me. She was amazing.
Oh, she got mad swag. I love
Yep.
my cousin Stevie is her like security and right hand guy. He's been with her 30 years. And she, when I met her and Bubba, I was just like, it just blew my mind. Just her, I felt like she was my auntie, like straight away. Like after like 5 minutes,
Yeah.
it felt.
4 people that you would have to dinner, living or dead.
Who, living or dead, have to dinner? Malcolm
Great.
X, Martin Luther King,
Awesome.